I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons, my Bibliospran, Bibliohowlers, and Bibliomancers. Thank you so much for supporting my hobby and passion even more. It means so much to me. Hey everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will finally be a book review. It has been quite a while since I actually did a book review on this channel, but for this particular book, I simply have to do it. And it is one of my goals actually to post more book review on this channel if possible, at least for self-published fantasy books. And technically, this book is a self-published fantasy book. Yes, today I will be reviewing the popular book Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, or the first secret project novel. I mentioned in my January TBR video that if possible, I wanted to wait until the physical copy arrived, but I cannot wait that long, even though it's probably about a month of waiting time, but I couldn't wait. And I am grateful that I chose this book as the first book I read in the year 2023. Tress of the Emerald Sea was simply whimsical and wonderful. Starting the year 2023 with the first secret novel from Brandon Sanderson from the Year of Sanderson is the correct action for me. So yes, the time is here. The first of the 4 secret project novels, Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, is here. If you're active in the fantasy community, or maybe even if you're not, it is no longer news that Sanderson has shocked the world with the immense success of his 4 secret novels Kickstarter campaign. I mean, #1 most pledged Kickstarter campaign of all time. It doesn't get more successful than that. And it shouldn't also come as a surprise that I, as a longtime Cosmere fans and Brandon Sanderson fans, end up enjoying Tress of the Emerald Sea. It is important for me to start my reading year with a great book, and as I said, choosing this book was the right pick. Sanderson plus a full-length Cosmere novels is a formula that never ceases to impress me. What I did not expect, however, was just how visually beautiful Tress of the Emerald Sea would be. I am pleasantly surprised. I am glad that the past Petrik decided to buy 4 premium hardcovers of this Kickstarter campaign. And I am eternally thankful to my co-blogger TS for covering the expensive international shipping fee, because without that, I don't think I would have ended up buying the 4 Secret Novels hardcover edition, the premium hardcover edition, and I would regret it so much. I will go into more details on the production value later, but for now, I will just say that, not counting the shipping fee here, for everything we get from this book, with $40, I think this is, for a special edition, can be considered relatively a bargain. This is on top of the book being such a fun and cozy book to read. All her life on an island named The Rock in the emerald green ocean, Tress lived a simple life with the simple pleasures of collecting cups received from sailors from faraway lands and listening to stories told by her friend Charlie. But when Charlie's father takes him on a voyage to find a bride and disaster strikes, Tress must leave her simple life to stow away on a ship and seek the sorcerers of the deadly midnight sea. That's the premise of the novel. Although I expected to love this book, I was initially worried after reading the first few chapters. Note the word ship in the official premise. Sailing and seafaring dominated the majority of Tress and the Emerald Sea. Personally, I tend to have mixed feelings about fantasy books with a heavy focus on seafaring unless they're The Lifeship Traders by Robin Hobb and the Tidechild Trilogy by R.J. Barker. And there were indeed some sections here where I felt a bit of a lull because of this. However, my overall experience was fun. Most of the time, it was difficult for me to stay away from the book. Sanderson's prose and the relatively short length of the novel, plus its short chapters, made it easy for me to still read 1 or 2 chapters whenever I had some free time. This was a delightful book about human beings, contradictions, leadership, found family, stories, love, bravery, and empathy. Before reading Tress and the Emerald Sea, I did not read any of the preview chapters of the secret novels, so I went into this as little knowledge as possible. However, based on the known artist or title and premise of the 4 secret novels, Tress and the Emerald Sea ranked 3rd out of 4. I am interested in all 4 secret novels, but I am most excited about the 3rd and the 4th secret novel. It's because, based on this and what I've heard, the first 2 secret novels felt like they would be the most tonally different from any other Sanderson's Cosmere books. Having read all published Cosmere stories, including this one, I can convey that Tress and the Emerald Sea proved it. And this is not a bad thing. Sanderson has mentioned that The Princess Bride by William Goldman is one of the main inspiration behind this book. Another good comparison for what kind of tone you're getting in the narrative here is The Good Omens by the late Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. So it is time to admit something. I haven't read and I haven't watched The Princess Bride. But I have watched The Good Omens, and I like that TV show. And I think Sanderson has nailed the comparison that he's going for here. The storytelling is whimsical and lighthearted in tone, but it is also imbued with serious themes and philosophical nuggets and discussions. I love the novel for it. I don't think I would have ended up loving this book as much if it was only joy and fun throughout the entire book. Sanderson's comedy, especially when it involves young adult characters in the narrative, is a hit or miss for me. But his emotionally hard-hitting and thought-provoking passages, that's another story. Sanderson may not have flowery prose, but the words he put on the pages of his books frequently hit and became passages I think about daily. A few examples from this book are: while a healthy measure of foolhardiness drove our ancestors towards discovery, fear kept them alive. If bravery is the wind that makes us soar like kites, fear is the string that keeps us from going too far. We need it, but the thing is, our heritage taught us to fear some of the wrong things. And another one: do not let memory chase you. Take the advice of one who has dissected the beast, then rebuild it with a more fearsome face, which I then used to charm a few extra coins out of an inebriated audience. Enjoy memories, yes, but don't be a slave to who you wish you once had been. Those memories aren't alive. You are. Although possible, it wouldn't feel organic to have these kind of passages appearing throughout the book if the novel is told through the first person or third person perspective of Tress. These were effective because the entire story in Tress and the Emerald Sea is narrated through Hoyt's perspective. Hoyt is an integral character in Sanderson's Cosmere universe, and we, Cosmere fans, are all waiting for Hoyt's origin story. Sanderson mentioned he wanted to practice and be more fluent at writing Hoyt's perspective before that backstory novel happened, and this is the book where it came to fruition. This won't, however, be how the story is told eventually in Hoyt's backstory novel. It will definitely be less whimsical and more raw. But to give you an idea of the kind of voice Sanderson is giving Hoyt in this book, if you've read the Stormlight Archive series, this is more in tune with the unforgettable Wonder Sail and the Dog and the Dragon stories Hoyt told in the series, a full-length version of that kind of in-world story. I absolutely love Wonder Sail and the Dog and the Dragon, and obviously I ended up loving Tress and the Emerald Sea as well. So yes, we do get to learn more about Hoyt and the Cosmere inside this book, but at the end of the day, even though the story is told through Hoyt's perspective, this is still a standalone story about Tress and her adventure. I mentioned the Stormlight Archive earlier. I am no stranger to voicing how much I love the group Bridge 4 in the Stormlight Archive. The found family trope is one of the many things that Sanderson executed extremely well in the Stormlight Archive, and also the first Mistborn trilogy, and he managed to craft another cherishable found family in this book. Tress, Huck, Ford, Salai, and many other characters are well written and likable characters. The deaf character representation in this book was also written with the help of a special sensitivity reader in order to do it justice. And hey, for the first time in any Cosmere book, we finally get to see a real dragon here. As Tress and the crew of the ship seized and faced dangers constantly, the bonds between them grew deeper and deeper. And of course, my investment in them too. And upon reaching the last page of this book, I can't help but hope we will get more stories or appearances from these characters eventually. Knowing how connected with each other the Cosmere is now, I'm quite confident we will. Speaking of Cosmere connections, and because people will ask me this question, should you read other Cosmere books first? Tress and the Emerald Sea is a standalone story in the world of Lumar. This marks the first time we get a book taking place in this world in the Cosmere. Like always, it is not necessary to read the other Cosmere books first to enjoy the main story here. But will you benefit from reading them? Yes, you will. I talked about this already in my review of The Lost Metal, but moving forward, Sanderson's future publications in the Cosmere universe, especially the ones taking place after Book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, will most likely have heavy Cosmere crossovers. If you intend to read all of Sanderson's Cosmere books, it is a good idea to start catching up reading them if you want to reap all the connections. As for this book, reading the entirety of the Mistborn saga so far will be beneficial. Additionally, there were a few small nods to the magic or technology portrayed in Warbreaker, Elantris, and the Stormlight Archive. I will leave it to you to decide whether you want to read them first or not. There is no spoiler for these three series though here. Also, although not the primary planet of the magic and there is no main novel for it yet, ethers and its explosive potential are explored here. One more thing before I end this review, let's talk about production value. I might post or make a new video about this once I have the physical copy, but right now, even the ebook of the premium edition alone is exquisitely made. Unless the paper quality of the physical copy sucks, which is so doubtful, I can vouch that the $40 I spent on getting this book is well spent. Maybe too well spent. It is almost ridiculous. You won't get a premium or special edition like this with only $40 anywhere else. If Subterranean Press or Grim Oak Press publish a book like this, I guarantee it will cost at least $200 US, not counting the shipping fee and the custom fee yet. The stunning design and the more than 10 interior artworks, 4 fully color art and the rest in green tone black and white by Howard Lyon, enhance the quality of the aesthetic and the tale. They are magnificent, and I am brimming with excitement waiting for the physical copy to arrive at my place. And if the first secret novel already reaches this level of production value, I want to read and find out what the other 3 will look like. In this review, I have shared a few fully colored and the green tone black and white art, just for you to have an idea just how beautiful the physical copy will be. But rest assured, in this review, I leave out some surprises in the clever design and artwork inside this book for you to find out for yourself. Whether aesthetically or narrative-wise, Tress of the Emerald Sea provided a whimsical and wonderful reading experience. It is a refreshing addition to the Cosmere. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and it is essentially, or at least it read like one, a Cosmere version of an adult fairy tale. With the success of Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project novels and at the rate he's publishing books, I think readers have or might have pointed out that Sanderson favor quantity instead of quality. I have to disagree with this sentiment. I don't see that happening really. Definitely not for his Cosmere books. I can't say much for his non-Cosmere novels yet. Personally speaking, Tress of the Emerald Sea doesn't show any drop in storytelling quality. It is different, but it is still Sanderson. Every book in the Cosmere, including this one that he wrote in secret, works amazingly well for me. Similarly to the first Mistborn trilogy, I do think that Tress of the Emerald Sea will work really well for both YA and adult fantasy readers, making this standalone story even more appealing to a bigger audience. So overall, I think this is a superb first book of 2023 for me, and I really hope that this signals the positive trajectory of my reading year. I look forward to receiving the premium edition, the premium hardcover edition of Tress of the Emerald Sea, and of course, I look forward to reading the other 3 secret novels as well. So that's the end of my review for Tress of the Emerald Sea. Do let me know whether you have read this book or not, and do you plan or did you get the premium hardcover or ebook of Tress of the Emerald Sea? If not, do you eventually plan to get it and maybe read it someday? I love this book, and if you haven't read this book yet, I hope that you will as well. So yeah, that's it for me today. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.